Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm coming to you tonight with another Garage Gun Talk. And tonight we're going to talk about guns again, because I really haven't been following the news too much, because Wednesdays are my longest work day. I literally just got home. It's like 8:30, and I really don't have time to follow the news and all the current events and stuff to talk about. So maybe there's something that's been going on, but I usually have to wait on Wednesdays until I'm laying in bed and I can read all the news on my phone. But I do have some gun stuff that I want to talk to. So this is kind of like talking shop about, just various guns and information that I have on them, because I shot two firearms yesterday at the range filming footage for range reports. And today, when I had a little break from work, I went on to the Sig M17, M18, like GI issued pistol group on Facebook. And I saw some people giving more specific information on their particular firearms, on what divisions use their pistol. And I was like, well, I got my FOIA request, but I don't see anything on there, and I don't understand these codes. Can anyone help me? And some people in there really helped me. So I now have a more definitive history on this pistol that I wanted to share with you guys and see what you guys think. But I want to talk about two guns that I shot first, went to the range. One exceeded my expectations and honestly lives up to all of the hype. And this is a fantastic gun. This is the Hudson H9. And when this gun hit the market a few years ago, I guess it was like premiered at a SHOT Show. And it was kind of touted as a mix between a 1911 and a Glock. So it's striker fired, but it has kind of a 1911 lower. It has kind of the same grip angle. It has a trigger which comes straight back into the pistol like a 1911. It has a main spring housing or something back here, or it feels like it, but I don't really understand how the mechanics of this thing work yet, because I haven't taken it apart. I haven't done my research on it, but I'm going to do that for the range report and, of course, the field strip. But it's an all-metal gun, and one of the things that they touted was kind of the technological advancement of this gun. It's this big thing here on the bottom. I guess it's some type of recoil dampening system. I don't know what kind of springs are in there. As I said, it's just one of those things where I need to do my research and investigate it. And I remember when people first reviewed these and shot these, and they said it really changes the way a 9mm handgun feels when you shoot it. Let me tell you, it does. This thing works. It looks and feels like an extremely high quality handgun. It just seems like it's well built, and however this thing works, it works. I am very, very impressed with this gun, and I feel terrible not owning one now. Like, I really want a Hudson H9. This is one of those guns that when I review, I shoot and I'm like, oh crap. Like, I want that. This is a fantastic pistol. Very accurate for me at 15 yards and less. I mean, very accurate. At further distances, I had some problems because the front dot is a little bit big, and I can't see where my bullets are impacting the target. So I'm just not as consistent at like 25 yards and so forth. But up close, the gun ran great, very accurate, and the recoil feels completely different than that of a standard kind of 9mm handgun. And it's my understanding that Hudson went out of business because I guess they had announced they were going to make a compact version of this, and people wanted that and were waiting on that and not buying the full size, which is weird to me, because holding this thing kind of feels like a Glock 19 in size. So to me, this is already a compact handgun. This is the perfect size handgun, in my opinion. This is like right at the Glock 19 size. It's great. Everything from the packaging to the machinery, the machining on this is fantastic. And I really feel like I missed the boat on this one when these things were new. So this thing is cool. This thing is really, really, really cool. So anyway, that was a great experience. And probably as soon as I get done with this video, I'm going to go inside and start editing the range footage for that. Now, the next gun I shot, I had an issue with, and it's one of those things that sometimes happens when you have historically interesting or mechanically interesting firearms, is I shot the Mateba. I believe this is called the MTR8 is the actual model number, but it doesn't say on the frame. I'll have to double check that. But I planned to do a kind of a mixture between a from the vault video where I show off a rare or collectible gun and then do a little bit of light shooting. I mean, this is kind of a really cool rare revolver. I mean, it looks weird, but very interesting history. The designer of this, this was like his first kind of foray into modernizing revolvers, and this is supposed to be designed as a target revolver. And he was the same guy that designed the Chiappa Rhino that you guys probably know today. But this was kind of his first venture into this. And I was going to shoot it lightly. I wanted to do like 2 cylinders of, semi-auto, 2 cylinders of single action, and then like 2 cylinders of double action. And that was going to be it. That's all I was going to do. So I get to the range, and I had kind of figured this thing out here on the workbench, and there is a little warning on this gun that you're not supposed to dry fire it. However, you can if it has snap caps, and Jack, when he lent this to the channel, gave me some snap caps. So all these are snap caps, okay? So they're all like pink and whatever. So the gun is safe to dry fire. And so here on the workbench, I didn't have any problems. I kind of wanted to feel what the trigger would be like. You pull the hammer back with this little lever. It's on both sides. And it rotates the cylinder. Everything locks up fine. Trigger feels pretty good. Yeah, double action felt good. Okay, no problems mechanically with this gun. I felt like it was safe and everything was working correct. So I get to the range, and I think I fired 2 rounds in single action for it, or through it. And then it didn't feel right when I cocked the hammer again. And it just kind of felt like it was loose, like it didn't rotate the cylinder. And so I went up here and I just wanted to make sure that the cylinder had locked up and the cylinder stop had engaged, and it hadn't. And I was like, okay, so I look through it and I open up the cylinder, and the cylinder stop, which in this revolver is right up here. Normally on revolvers that are kind of more traditional, they're down here in the bottom, and there's a spring in it as well. And it looks like it's just traditional in that way. It's just on the top instead of the bottom. But it wasn't re-engaging. And I could get it to re-engage if I open the cylinder and then close the cylinder again, it re-engages. Now, this problem does not happen when you dry fire it with snap caps. But if you use live ammunition, I'm assuming under the recoil of the firearm, something in there is either getting it stuck or interfering with the way it works. And my gut, from just touching it here and moving it, it's a pretty light spring, but not really. It's not like it's any less than most other revolvers. I don't know why it doesn't re-engage, but it has to do something with the recoil of the firearm that prevents it from doing that. So I'm probably just going to do a typical from the vault video, talk about the history of this revolver. I'll talk about my experiences with this revolver. And unfortunately, I did not get it on camera because I always kind of test fire a gun before I turn on the camera. And this problem happened on the very first cylinder. And I tried a number of other times just to see, okay, maybe that was just a, one-off. But I experienced the same situation in double action as well. So I felt like it's not worth recording. But I will talk about it in that from the vault video. I can't tell mechanically what's wrong with this, because right now that cylinder stop is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And if I dry fire it or either double action, single, it works like it's supposed to. But you put 38 special in this thing and you fire it once or twice, it doesn't. So I told Jack, I said, probably this needs to go to a gunsmith that deals with custom guns. I think it's probably a very small and minor issue. I really believe it. It might be something as simple as the cylinder stop spring. It could be that simple. Because if it works fine when you dry fire it, and then when you fire it doesn't, it's got to be something small mechanically. And especially if I can just open the cylinder, close the cylinder again, and it re-engages. So it has to be something really minor. So this one is not going to get a range report on it. It's just going to get a from the vault, but I'll talk about those issues with it. But as it sits here, everything works. You fire it, it doesn't. So I was a little bit disappointed, But this gun was designed as a target revolver and very mechanically interesting and very, very rare. So I'll still get some good content on it and talk about its history and just talk about the issues, especially when it comes to firing older, rare guns. But this goes back to the conversation we were having recently regarding firing old guns. So I discovered this, and Jack had not shot this gun. But let me ask you, imagine owning a gun that you think works. And granted, you may never fire it, but in actuality, it doesn't work. Wouldn't you want to know? I mean, if you have a gun that's like, okay, it's like this, but you never fired it, and it might look pretty, it might be rare, but if you actually tried to functionally use it, it wouldn't work. I'd kind of want to know. So as I said, I was going to treat this thing really light, just 2 cylinders and single action, 2 cylinders double action, and that was going to be it. Okay, and I was using some of the lightest 38 special that I had. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing, but it's the way it goes, But wanted to kind of report to you on that one. All right, so now let's talk about the Sig M17. This is the one I got back out of the safe. You guys might be tired of me talking about this one, but this is the one that has the certificate of authenticity that this was part of the U.S. military. It was an issued gun, and I told you I got the FOIA request on it, the Freedom of Information Act, and it told me all the places it had been. It had those codes, and at the bottom it had like these 2 digit and letters, and I was assuming it was something else, but I asked people on this forum or Facebook group. I said, can you guys tell me more about this pistol? I said, do you have a screenshot of that FOIA request? And I sent it to them, and they looked at those and said, oh yeah, and they told me everything about it. So this pistol, which is a TF prefix 00, and then it's in the 1800 range. Okay, I'll tell you that. I'm not going to tell you the full serial number, but it's in the 1800 range. So this is one of the first, essentially 2000 M17s that were made for the military. And the information that it said on the FOIA request is, it came from, because I had to write this down, it was issued in the 101st Airborne, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Battalion of the 26th Infantry. Now, I'm not sure what the order of that should be. I'm not sure if it should be Airborne, Brigade, Battalion, Infantry, or Airborne, Infantry, Battalion, Brigade. Someone that actually is in the military could tell me the hierarchy, because I'm actually going to order this stand that people make. It's like a 3D printed stand, and you can have all that information on the stand, and I think that would be really cool. So I'm not really sure kind of the hierarchy. I'm obviously 101st Airborne is like the biggest division, but what's below it? I don't know. I'm not a military guy, never been a military guy. So if you're in the military, tell me what the order is. But here's the information. Oh yeah, it was also D Company, I think it was. So yeah, it was, okay, here it is. 101st Airborne, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry, D Company. I think that's what it was. I think it was D Company. So is that the order? Tell me. But that's where this gun was issued, and that's who had it. So it was part of them. So part of the 101st Airborne, and it's cool to have that information now. So what do you guys think? And maybe you guys can help me with that. But anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. Just a little garage gun talk, talking more about guns. And I guess that's about it. I probably should go inside and at least start editing the range footage on the Hudson H9, because this is going to be a great range report. So anyway, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And if you have any information on anything I talked about tonight, please tell me in the comment section below. So, as always, thanks for watching.